What's going on, guys? So, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was the trade deadline today at about 12, not 12, 12 Pacific time for me, PM Eastern. But there was, a lot of speculation and a lot of build up to what was going to happen today. There was a lot of rumors, there was a lot of reports from Woj, Shams, and other journalists. So, we were hoping that this was going to be a huge not free agency, a huge trade deadline where we could see a lot of, game changing moves for a lot of teams. And, looking back now and seeing what we've done, what the moves have been so far, well, so far the deadline's over. But from what we've seen, I think that there has not been anything game changing. There are a little bit of underwhelming because, there was a couple of players who were, rumored to be moved, but nothing really happened with that. And I'll talk about that later. But, the moves overall were very interesting. I think that's fair to say. So, in this video, I'm basically just going to ramble on and talk about the more significant ones and kind of give my thoughts on them. Everyone does this, just give my initial reaction on them. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do in this video. And before I do all that, 99% of the people watching this video are probably not even subscribed to the channel. So, if you are watching this and you enjoy NBA related content, then be sure to subscribe and also turn on your notifications. That would be, greatly appreciated. Also, please be sure to leave a like. That makes a big difference in helping this channel grow. So, yeah, I wanted to get that out of the way. So now let's actually talk about some of these deals. So, the first one that happened was in the morning at around 7 a.m. my time. And it was interesting one. JaVale McGee for Cleveland is going to the Denver Nuggets for Isaiah Hartenstein and 2 future protected second-round picks. I saw this and I was like, okay, nothing crazy, but still a good move for Denver. They need a backup center to back up Jokic. And JaVale McGee, he was the starting center for the Lakers last year when they won the championship. He was very helpful for them. So this, I don't see anything wrong with. He has shown that he has a role that he can play well, even if it isn't the starting spot. And obviously, being second fiddle to Jokic is definitely not bad. And it's good to have that for when Jokic isn't in the game. So I don't hate this move at all. It's good for Denver. So, good for JaVale McGee. He's not on Cleveland. He's playing for a team that's actually trying to do something, right? So, and that's not the only thing that Denver did today, and I'll talk about that later. But, that was the first move that happened. And after that, there was a couple hours, actually not, about an hour after that, where it seemed pretty quiet, and everyone's like, nothing's really going on right now. Is everyone just going to wait till the last minute to be some trades? What's going to happen? And then an hour later at 8:05 a.m., probably the biggest move today, and the one that I'm the most excited about because it involves my favorite team, the Chicago Bulls traded Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and 2 first-round picks to the Orlando Magic for Al-Farouq Aminu and Nikola Vucevic. I mean, wow. I did not expect this to happen because earlier in that day, Woj was saying that the Orlando Magic were listening to offers about Vucevic, but their ask was going to be really high, and a lot of teams weren't going to want to give up that much to get Nikola Vucevic. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, he didn't even mention any teams that were interested in getting him. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't think he was going to get traded. But then when I saw this, that the Bulls got him, I'm like, wait, what? How did this happen? And obviously my initial reaction was in complete excitement because the Bulls now have a second all-star, right? Like, we have Zach LaVine, who has been terrific this season. And now we have a big man that we desperately need, especially after what we've seen for the past for the season as a whole. Wendell Carter Jr., who I really like and I was really hoping would become something better. He just hasn't done that yet. So moving on from him and landing a very, very good all-star in his prime at 30 years old, 2-time all-star, averaging 24 points and 12 rebounds a game. Not many players are doing that in this league. So for the Bulls to have that, it came out of nowhere, and that shock was what made it even more exciting for me. I'm hyped, man. I'm so hyped with this move. We have 2 all-stars. The general consensus is that it was a very good move for the Bulls and that it makes them basically a playoff team, a playoff caliber team, which, for us, You could say the bar is low, that we're just trying to fight for a playoff spot to be a first round exit. I don't give a shit. We haven't made the playoffs in 4 years, and we've been very, very bad since then. And for us to have 2 All-Stars now, it's great. I'm so happy with this. And he does so much for what the Bulls need, especially on defense. Our defense is not great, and it's probably not going to get significantly better even with Vooch, but he's going to be a big help. So I'm very happy with this move, obviously. And, man, it just makes me excited, man. 2 All-Stars on this team. Our new front office, man, Arturas Karnisovas is so good, man. A really good deal. We didn't have, giving up Wendell and Otto Porter is good. I think that's fair enough, but it's not like we had to give, it wasn't the biggest risk, honestly, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first round picks are top 4 protected, so the Bulls could get those picks back depending on how they go in the lottery, especially if they don't make the playoffs. So there's a lot of interesting stuff with this, but general consensus, the Bulls have a second All-Star. The Bulls have, something working here. I don't know if it's going to be enough for this year to make the playoffs, but, I think we're setting ourselves up to be a pretty good team, for the foreseeable future. We could be top 5, top 6 in the conference, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, Miami, and then probably us, and that's exciting for us because we haven't had that in a while. The Bulls haven't been good in a long time. So for us to be in this position now with a new front office, a new coach, it's a new direction that we're going with this team. So it just makes me more excited for the future. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So that was that. Really good for us. I'm really happy with that. And then after that, the Boston Celtics went ahead and traded for Evan Fournier, which, is a good move. Evan Fournier was really good for the Orlando Magic. And, he's going to give them a little bit more scoring, a little bit more on the defensive end. So I don't hate this move at all for Boston. They need a lot, especially with how they've done this season, for them to be, barely in the playoff spot. I think that's embarrassing for a team that went to the conference finals last year. So, I don't know, man. I think the Celtics need all the help they can get. So, Evan Fournier is definitely a good help for them. So I'm not mad at that. And if I'm a Celtics fan, I don't hate that move at all either, because at least you're getting something, right? You're getting something that's going to help your team, even if it's not enough to take you over the hump. It's something, right? I guess you take what you can get, right? I think that's the way you look at it. If you're a Celtics fan, but maybe your standards are higher, so we'll see. But also, by the way, do not Google his last name. People are doing it. I didn't, but I knew what was going to happen. I Googled his name, but I didn't click on the Google images, and I'm glad I didn't, because I just looked up on Google, read a couple of things, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm not even going to bother. But yeah, do not Google his last name. If you have done it already, I'm sorry for what you had to see, but if you haven't already, do not bother doing it. It's just, don't do it, please. But yeah, Evan Fournier to Boston for 2 second-round picks. Good deal for them. Then this one is probably one of the more interesting ones. After Vooch went to Chicago, it was pretty simple. It was pretty much consensus that, all right, Orlando's going to blow it up. They're going to trade Aaron Gordon too, and that's what happened. He's now been traded to the Denver Nuggets for Gary Harris. Actually, I'm trying to find what the details are, but yeah, Gary Harris, RJ Hampton, a first-round pick. So Aaron Gordon is going to the Denver Nuggets, a team where he's going to be actually really helpful for. He still has a lot in the tank. He's still young. He's worked on his shooting. He's a great defender. So, and there's other things he can do on offense. So he's going to be able to provide for this team in a good way. And for him to be finally playing for a team that's actually trying to win significantly, I think that's good for him in his young career. And, that makes Denver very interesting. Does that make him a contender again? Because, after them getting Aaron Gordon, that makes the conversation for the West a lot more interesting, because you have Utah, Lakers, LeBron and AD are hurt, the Clippers, the Blazers, the Suns, and now you have the Nuggets again. They went to the conference finals last year, so it's not like they're a bad team. So adding Aaron Gordon makes them a lot more interesting. So yeah, if I'm a Nuggets fan, obviously I'm excited about this, getting a very good young player who has shown a lot in his career in Orlando, and I'm excited for Aaron Gordon, and I'm excited for the Nuggets. I'm very interested to see how this fit works. So, yeah, I like this fit for them. I do think it'll be significant, you know. Then we had Nemanja Bjelica to the Miami Heat. Nothing crazy there, but he has shown a lot of good stuff. He's a good perimeter player. He can get to the basket. He's a defender. So that was another interesting one. And then right at 12:08 p.m., 8 minutes after the trade deadline, we were like, okay, what's going to happen with Victor Oladipo? Because a lot of the talk was he's going to be out soon because obviously Houston's a complete and utter disaster. But, you know, what was going to happen with Victor Oladipo? Because earlier in the day, there was reporters saying that he was at practice today for Houston. And I was like, oh, okay. If that's what's happening, then he's not going anywhere. But then 8 minutes after the trade deadline hits, Woj tweets, Houston is trading Victor Oladipo to Miami. And that's when I'm like, oh shit, it actually happened. Victor Oladipo, after like all that talk about him going to potentially the Miami Heat, it's a place he wanted to go. It's not been, you know, this is nothing new. We've known for a while now that the Miami Heat is a place that he has wanted to play at for some time. So I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for him. He's going to be playing for a Miami Heat team that, you know, after a very, you know, weird first half, they have done incredibly well since then, especially with Jimmy Butler coming back. They've propelled themselves to one of the top teams in the East. They're the defending Eastern Conference champions. So now you add Victor Oladipo to that mix. That makes them very interesting, right? So that's obviously very exciting for them. And the most interesting part about this is, man, Houston got fleeced on this deal. Let's be very clear. Victor Oladipo to Miami, and who did Houston get back? Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and then like I think some picks. Like that's what Houston got. And that just shows that the James Harden trade for Houston was a complete and utter disaster. They could have had Karis LeVert, but nope, he's in Indiana and playing well. I mean, especially after, you know, him getting treated for cancer. I'm so glad he's healthy and playing well. Good on Karis LeVert. But yeah, I mean, the Houston Rockets are a complete disaster right now. And it's ugly, man. That Harden trade basically just set them back a while. And I feel bad for John Wall because finally coming back after 2 years, and now he's on a team that's basically a complete mess. I also pray for Steven Silas, the head coach, who has spent 20 years as an assistant coach, finally gets the head coaching job, and all the best players are just gone. Westbrook, Harden, DeMarcus Cousins, now Victor Oladipo. Like, it's just bad, man. I pray for Steven Silas. He deserves better. But yeah, the Rockets got fleeced on that deal. But I'm happy for Victor Oladipo. He's wanted to play there. I think that the system that Miami has is going to be good. And the fact that, you know, Pat Riley was able to get this deal done without having to give up Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, I don't know how he did it, but good on him. He does his thing, man. Also, another thing, George Hill went to the Philadelphia 76ers, which was expected, and a lot of Philly fans are, you know, they're not mad at this, obviously. They need, you know, a proper point guard, so getting him is definitely not bad at all. I'm a Philly. If I was a Philly fan, I wouldn't hate that at all. What else? Ooh, this one is interesting. The Clippers have been needing a point guard for a while now, right? Like Patrick Beverley, I mean, he just isn't it, right? For them, especially if what they're trying to do. So they get Rajon Rondo, and Lou Williams is going to Atlanta. So Rondo is going to be helpful for them. They get a proper point guard, and especially someone who knows how to perform very, very well in the playoffs. So, you know, they finally get a point guard. Maybe that eases a little bit of the burden off of Kawhi and PG. I don't know if it does it significantly, but, I mean, Rondo can still play. We saw it last year in the bubble and during that finals run, so this is definitely a good one. Lou Williams, I'm curious to know what happens with him, especially because he said that if he gets traded from the Clippers, he's done. Like, he's going to retire. I have some doubts about that because he's in Atlanta. He's in his hometown. I mean, I don't know if Atlanta's his hometown, but he's in Georgia, his home state. So, you know, does he play for his home team? I don't know, man. It would be interesting if he retired. I don't think that's ever happened before, but I doubt it. I just have like this doubt that he'll retire. but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And Norman Powell going to Portland for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood. I like this for Portland. Norman Powell's been having a great year, even despite all of the things going on with the Raptors. So, yeah, he's having a career year, best numbers in his career, great shooter, great guy on the offensive end. You agree with him regardless. So, Portland, a team that's been doing well this season, getting a guy like him, it might make up for the loss of Gary Trent. We'll see. But, yeah, I think it's a good move for them. So, that's basically all of the moves I have listed. Obviously, from what the consensus was, the clear frontrunner was going to be the Chicago Bulls. And obviously, I would have loved if we got Lonzo Ball. I was rooting for it, right? Coming into today, the biggest hope I had was for the Bulls to get Lonzo Ball. Obviously, we got Vooch, which I'm still very, very happy with. But, not getting Lonzo Ball, I'm bummed about it. But at the same time, I'm not that mad because he'll finish out the season and he's going to be a free agent, restricted free agent. He wants $20 million a year. The Bulls, I don't know if they're going to be able to offer that now with Vooch, but I mean, if they can cut a couple of guys here and there, they might be able to make room for him, and I would love to see that happen in the offseason. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, but Lonzo Ball's not going. Kyle Lowry not going is very interesting. I really thought he was going to be gone. Especially after yesterday, the Raptors won a big game by 30, and it just felt like it was his last game. He was walking out of the walking into the tunnel, tears in his eyes, pointing at the camera, waving at the crowd, even though they're in Tampa, Florida, not even in Canada. Just the energy that was there, FaceTiming Drake during the post-game interview, it just felt like it was a hurrah. It just felt like it was the last hurrah. Nick Nurse was also saying in that same interview that, Kyle Lowry's going to go down as the greatest Raptor of all time and everything. There was a finality that came with Kyle Lowry in Toronto. So, him basically staying for the rest of the season is interesting, especially with how bad the Raptors have been. I mean, obviously it sucks, but, if this is what's going to happen, I mean, good on Masai Ujiri because he knew what he wanted to get for Kyle Lowry, and other teams weren't willing to give stuff up. And basically, Masai Ujiri said, would just give up Talen Horton-Tucker. He's good, but then if you're going to get Kyle Lowry, come on, man. I don't know about that. Same thing with the Miami Heat. I mean, is Tyler Hero really worth all that? You don't want to get rid of him to get Kyle Lowry, but, again, Pat Riley knows something because, again, they got Oladipo without having to give up Duncan or Tyler Hero. So, it's interesting. But yeah, now I'm curious to see what happens with Kyle Lowry because he's basically going to be a free agent, and I don't see him coming back to the Raptors after this season. They probably might not even make the playoffs with the way they've been playing. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to see him in Philly. That's what I was kind of rooting for because I just felt like it was right. The Sixers needed a proper point guard. It's his hometown. He's from West Philly. So, it just felt right. But I think we're just going to have to wait now for whatever happens with Kyle Lowry. But, yeah, I think I covered everything. Also, the Bulls did another thing. They got Daniel Tice. They got Troy Brown from the Wizards. And they also got another guy from the Celtics. I can't believe I forgot his name. I'm drawing a blank right now, but they got another guy. So Daniel Tice is interesting. I don't hate that at all. A backup center for Vooch. Yeah, I definitely don't hate that. We got rid of Mo Wagner. I'm happy about that because he's done some questionable things on social media. So for the Bulls to kind of just get him and then trade him right away within the hour, I'm happy with that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if you're thinking about who won this deadline, I would probably say the biggest winners are the Miami Heat because getting Oladipo is going to be a big help for them. Then I would also say the Chicago Bulls because getting Vooch is going to be a big help for them, especially since they're trying to make the playoffs this year. That's obviously for me as a fan, I'm excited for that. And then the Denver Nuggets because getting Aaron Gordon is going to be a big help for them. So yeah, I'm happy with that. The Magic also, they're not in a bad place to rebuild. I just want to get that out there. The Magic are in a good place to do a full rebuild. So yeah, if I'm a Magic fan, I'm not even that mad because the rebuild is going to go well. They have assets. Also, the losers, to me, there's two big losers. One is Houston, obviously. They got fleeced for that Oladipo trade, and they're going to be in a bad position for a few years, so that's going to be rough. And then the Celtics, I thought that they were going to get Aaron Gordon, and the fact that they didn't, getting Evan Fournier is definitely not bad, but for that to be their only move when it was very clear that they needed something significant to help this team, I don't know if it's going to be enough to help them. I hope it is, because I want to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and those guys do well, especially in the playoffs, but they're barely making the playoffs right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. We'll see, but that's going to be interesting. All right, I think I covered everything. Oh my God, I'm at 20 minutes. Holy shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you were able to stick around for this long, I appreciate it a lot. If you did enjoy this video, again, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what your thoughts on the trade deadline. Who are the biggest winners? What moves were interesting to you? I just want to hear your general thoughts because it was very interesting. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you don't miss an upload. And thank you guys as always for your continuous support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.